We are going to be starting off at the planning stage here of game number 1, Ethereal versus C# on Walleye Warehouse Splat Zones.
These are two Finnish teams, so if you're new to the Splatoon scene, the international scene is great. You're going to see teams from all over Europe. You're going to see teams from Canada. You're going to see teams from the US. We actually had a tournament last month, I believe, that featured 11 different countries, and that's not one player from each of those 11 countries. We're talking 11 full teams from different countries representing, that was Intergalactic Cup 2. Now, this is not that,
That's
but
crazy.
I want to give you a sense of all the different teams. So these are two Finnish teams, two very, very good teams. Ethereal just played in the Ludi S Division. I believe it was either the bronze match or it was to see who got to move on to the gold medal match in Ludi. That's leagues under the ink. So they are about as good as it gets in terms of Splatoon. C#, a team that you and I talked a little bit about in the pregame, kind of on the come up.
Yeah, you mentioned that they might be able to take down some teams. They are not the best team in the world right now, but they have the potential to knock some people out. I'm interested to see how this is going to work. I also like that tag. C# is very literal in that case. Walleye Warehouse, then we got main stage, tower control, and then, I hope we see a game 3, man. I hope we see that game 3. Moray Towers Clam Blitz. That's a very fun map for Clam Blitz. That's a very fun map for Clam Blitz. The goal for your enemy team, it's not too far away from the little central area, pardon me. So it's interesting to see the strategies that come out on that kind of a team and build and map, rather.
It will be interesting. I was quoted out of context in Irik's Commentator's Curse video as saying, I like Moray Towers now. That was specifically Clam Blitz on Moray Towers. I think more than any other mode, with the exception of maybe Rainmaker, it opens the map up to a lot of different strategies. You can sneak behind the enemy's goal and just kind of chill up there, set up some beacons, move around, and utilize more of the map. You're still not going to be able to utilize all of it because it is so vertical, but I'm with you. I hope we get to see that game 3. Should be a lot of fun. But Walleye Warehouse,
coming back.
Man, it's so good to see it back.
Coming back from Splatoon 1, it was my favorite casual stage back in the day. So it's nice to view it anew in a competitive light. But we are going to be going right into game number 1 here. Splat zones, control the zones. Let's see what we got for team comps here. 2 end zaps, looking nice. Another 2 end zaps, wow! 4 end zaps in the game. That's going to be a lot of suction bombs and a lot of ink armor coming out constantly. I also like the comeback strategy coming out from Ethereal right there. I love seeing some comeback stuff and going right into the action right here. Saikai, not Saikai, pardon me. Remember C# right here trying to control the point. However, wow, dude, the trash bin right there, the splashing machine coming in and trying to keep people out.
Yep, you're seeing it right now. Everyone talks about this being the modern meta, and there is a point to be made here. Sloshing machine, if you've got it, you should use it, as we're seeing right now with Fumiko moving in and making some big plays, but expect to see a lot of double end zap here later today. That ink armor, it's back, everybody, and we're also seeing the return of the Tri-Slosher. So, again, expect to see this a lot today.
Yeah, no, the Zap meta, I mean, I'm interested. Here comes the old meta for a couple shots here. 2 Stingrays flapping out from one from each team, as it looks like Ethereal has taken up a nice control of the map. Only one person left alive with that sloshing machine. And they're going to have to form up together and make a nice little push right right here. But Fumiko and the rest of Ethereal coming up a little bit closer to them in their spawn. Look at how much map control they have. Blue really...
They may have overextended. They had a little bit, but they may have overextended just a little bit there. 2 down. If they get an ink armor off here, they being C#, they might be able to push back in. That's a loss of control. Can they take it and put on that penalty? They are so close to it.
No.
So close, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get it. That was so unfortunate. They did everything right, but they weren't able to capitalize on that situation. Great movement there by Gray to come in and sweep that one up. I don't know if they're going to have another chance to get back in.
That was an excellent hold. No, at this point, with only 2 people or 2 or 3 people left into the action, a couple picks coming out right here, that is going to be pretty much a solid sweep from Ethereal, taking that game number 1 right and easy.
And really, maybe not the turning point in the matches, but I want everyone to take note of how Ethereal moved up there and split themselves up, putting 2 right in front of that drop down, and then having Fumiko up on that left side. Very, very dominating position. And I know some other commentators talk about game-winning pressure. In Splatoon, you have to be able to carry your momentum and go up and continue to put pressure on the enemy, especially in Splatoon 2. If you sit back, that's going to let the other team build up their specials, and building up specials is how you get in when you've been fully wiped. So right there, Ethereal executing their game plan on to game 2.
Yeah, and in momentum-based, it's when a game is a game, when your first game is an immediate sweep, it's so hard mentally to come back from that. Sometimes you can be like, okay, cool. So we just played kind of stupidly right there. Someone made like one wrong call and it sort of messed the whole flow up. Trying to take back that momentum for game number 2 is sometimes a little bit pressure. It's sometimes just a little bit of pressure right there.
It is a little bit of pressure, and I gotta say, this is Starfish main stage on tower control. I really like the comp that Ethereal was rolling out for here. It's one of the more open maps in terms of the tower riding. You are out in the open. You're riding along that very long street area. So I think another triple ink armor comp could work. I think that getting somebody on the tower and keeping them on there, moving around, kind of sharking around the tower, and making sure that anyone who sits back is getting picked off, it's a very strong composition. So C#, I'm not really sure here. You can't really talk about ink control because the comp that they rolled out could control ink. They rolled out double NZAP as well. They just got off on the wrong foot. So I would look to see them try to come out a little bit more conservatively here, not be the first ones on the tower, because if they go 3 or 4 down again, you're going to see the exact same thing you saw in game 1.
Yeah, that's very true. You mentioned about, if they are alive for longer, they're going to keep the specials going for longer. And with a lot of the specials being ink armor, that's very powerful. Keeping that extra, even half a second of survivability in this kind of an open map where both players could find the same kinds of shots at each other. Whoever's the most defense in that situation will probably win. We are going to be seeing another 2 NZAPs. Wow, there you go, another 4 NZAPs. Sounds good. You called it right. Going right into it, though. Now everyone's rolling comeback on Ethereal.
Hey, come back. There's good reason for it. You're seeing a lot of quick respawn, and you're seeing some object shredder as well. The reason that you use that build is to go in and it's the counter ink armor, right? And if you do die early on, you can jump back in and make big plays, and you can keep jumping the tower because quick respawn still does work with that. And what did we talk about? 4 down already, and here's a player that you and I talked about in the pregame. Ben, one of the best blasters doing it right now.
That's right. Oh, wow. I'm actually surprised at how well he was able to handle that brush pressure by C# right there. But it will be the power of the brush and the NZAP going to be taking him out. They're going to be trying to stop that point as fast as possible. All 4 of Ethereal's players are still alive, except for exactly as I said that when one just went down. They still have the point. That Stingray is going to delay it a little bit right now, but it looks like Ethereal just still has so much of the center map control. It's going to be very easy for them to just roll out again. And here comes the ink armor, going to be getting a nice trade with a member of C# right there. Not what they really wanted, but they do manage to take back the point. They still got to make it through a few checkpoints in order to take back something nice here, but they got some momentum going, flowing back into their veins here.
Right, they get to play the game now. That's how we always say it. You've played defense, now you get to play the game. But they've got to be careful here. One of them does get a kill. There's another kill, actually. A little bit of an overextension by Ethereal. Now Ben's going to be called out over there on the right, but it looks like this sloshing machine is the last one left alive. That tower push got snuffed very, very quickly. And now Ben going and giving chase here. Already the pressure is back on. They're pinned all the way back once again. Going to jump back to spawn and use the GG Ray, as we call it, that Stingray, using the invincibility. And maybe not using that, just jumping out, deciding, oh, wait, they're not pushing. I won't use it quite yet. But look, that central control you talked about.
Yellow.
So yellow.
This entire map, even getting closer to C# spawning areas, that's all yellow. Like, look at that entire path. We see a little bit of sloshing machine coverage coming out right now, but honestly, the double NZAP is doing so much work in just keeping the map control coming. Once it stops coming, or once it starts coming, it don't stop coming. The GG Ray will indeed come out, but wow, it really... No, actually, it does look like there's a little bit of a push coming out from C# right now. The brush is not going to be able to find the kill, though. Good job from Gray, realizing how close he was to death right there, how much he was in the range of the brush, and just pulling back, getting out of the range and getting that kill.
And every time a little push comes in, it always costs 2 or 3. And the other thing that we have to talk about here is these pushes that we're talking about, it's not tower pushes. It's get back the middle pushes, which that's got to be frustrating if you're C#. I don't think it's a comp issue either. The brush, some people say the brush is questionable, but they just aren't able to get the kills and stay alive. They're trading a lot, but if you're trading, you can't paint. And Ethereal now moving past that second checkpoint, another ink armor going off. Ben is living in their zone right now, putting as much pressure as possible. Ben's up there. Some more pressure is going to be coming in. The third and final checkpoint is going to come in, and they're going to walk this one in. A very dominant performance there from Ethereal. You got the sense there was never really a chance for C# to get back together.
You said that the blaster is living in their zone. When a blaster lives in your zone, it is deadly, especially when it's someone as good as the members of Ethereal. Like, blasters with that potential to one-hit kill you, two-hit kill you from such a nice range, if they can get the correct angles. It's so scary to be up close and personal with one of them. But that is why Ethereal took that game 2-0. We will not see Clamblitz come out just yet, but I'm looking forward to his chances as we go through the bracket.
I'm looking forward to it as well. Ben up there with the 14KA. Blasters, it's so funny the way that Blasters went. At the beginning of the game, a lot of people weren't big believers in Blasters. Then it was the custom Blaster because Inkjet was so dominant. Then the Rapid Blaster, then the custom range Blaster. And now with the most recent nerfs and buffs, people are really starting to fall in love with that vanilla Blaster again. It has the splashdown, the buffs that came out to, what is it called? The modern
Blaster.
No, the Clash Blaster too, but the
Big
sub.
custom buffs.
Why can I not remember what that is? The Mist, Toxic Mist, Poison Mist, one of those two.
I forgot about it too.
The buffs that came out to that, and of course the splashdown, which has not really been touched. A lot of people are migrating back to that as well. So the cycle of blasters has now kind of come back to where it started, which is kind of fun to look at.
It's a tempting weapon. It's a one-hit kill from, in some cases, a decent range, like with the range blaster. It's just has some nice appeal to it. You want to be able to get those one-hit kills, and if you're rolling like something like Ninja Squid, and you can just like flow through your ink so well and remain undetected, it's going to be very scary for the enemy team.